Hello and welcome to this new video where we are going to demonstrate a nice feature introduced in a modern test framework, at least two of them, Playwright and Cypress, and that is the mock API capability. So for some example, imagine we have a web application where in the UI we display information about a subscriber, and that information is fetched from an endpoint in the backend like we can see here. So for example, we want to test the different functionality depending on the date subscribes and the service the subscriber has. So it will be very easy to do the test, but the challenge we came with the test data. So for example, if you want to test the requirement in regression, we must be sure that we have the test data available. So that means rely on the subscriber already present, modify the database to do the test we want to do, and stuff like that. Those solution works, but they can be unreliable. So another requirement could be to validate the test server error response. So what if this call return a 500 response? What should be the the behavior of the UI? Or maybe we have a time where it took a long time to respond. So in order to test how we can communicate with our dev team, they shut down the API, we do the test, and then okay, we are correct. But this action is definitely not repeatable in a regression scenario. So in the past, to test all these functionality, we will have made use of a mock server, right? So, but with the mock API functionality, we don't have to use a mock server anymore. So let's see how it works. I have already prepared a test project with Playwright in Python and have these two files, the test subscriber and the test data. So I will write my test in the test subscriber.py file. And so to quickly recap, the requirement would be to validate that if I have a basic subscription and within 15 days, I can have access to the premium, but after that, I need to pay to benefit from all the services. So we can quickly implement the first test cases. So it will be to validate that the recent subscriber with basic have access to all the services and there's a warning display. So actually I will put a breakpoint there and I will try to go over to explain the test. So the first thing, if I can go quickly over in the documentation, and we can see that to use the mock API, we actually need to call this method to intercept the route. So what we are going to do is we're going to match a pattern there, the pattern of our endpoint. And when there is a match, we call the handle function to give the data we want to return. So, and we have to call this intercept method before going to the web page. So if I go back to the test, so what I do, I want to generate the data I want to send first. So I will create this method generate subscriber that will generate my data, right? So basically I want a basic service, a person that didn't pay, and that subscribed 7 days ago. So I will fulfill the rate with that data. So if I quickly go over here, you see what we do, we calculate the delay in here. And with that response, we just provide the JSON we want and we return it. So after that, I need to call the route method. In my case, I'm using the regex. So this function actually also supports the regular expression. So I pass the pattern I want to match, and when there is a match, we use the handle method. After that, we navigate to the page and we just validate some element on the page to make sure everything is correct. So if I actually start this, I can go stop and rerun. You can see that instead of navigating to the web page, the payload that we have accorded to the web page, it actually goes there with the info we provided to the handle method. And so this day is 7 days ago. Today is the 22, and we provide a basic service. And if you actually continue the test, we will see that the assertion will be good and the test will actually succeed. So that's how we can manipulate the test data to actually get the data we want and validate our requirement. So if I just continue over there, everything succeeds and it's all good. So if I continue, I can have a second test case where in that case we will validate that after the 15 days. If we didn't pay, we don't have access to the same element on the web page. So if I go there and I implement this method, so in this case I provide a delay of 16 days. So I fulfill the route, and it's basically the same, but we should just see a basic service and an upgrade box. So same, I can put a breakpoint here and run this method, and we will see the behavior is different. So now we have an older subscription date with still a basic service, and the information display are different. So we actually need to upgrade to see the premium service. So that's how we can test different data returned by our API using the mock API request in Playwright. So let's quickly terminate this test, and we now see how we can validate the error on the server. So basically, if we have a requirement where the server is unresponsive, we should see a number that we should call, or maybe we want to navigate to an error page and display that to the user. So we can quickly test this requirement the same as we did with the other one, but instead of returning a payload, in this case we can simply return a status response. So the fulfill method in the handle there can be just set with the parameter status, and we'll just choose the status response we want. So 500 will be our internal server error, and in that case we will expect a certain behavior on the API. So in my case, I'm defining some basic requirement over here. So just a support number that should be visible, and also an error box that should happen to indicate that something went wrong. So in this case, yes, so we call the fulfill method, but we're just using the status code. No need to define the payload here. If I run this, forget the breakpoint. Yeah, I see that there is a different behavior, and for immediate attention we should call this number, so what we expect, and we just can quickly terminate it. So that's how we can use the mock API to test different data from an endpoint or an unresponsive server, a 404, a bad request also. We can test all these different kind of status error on the server side. So thanks for watching. We have explored how Playwright can simplify API testing by allowing us to mock error responses and handle multiple backend scenarios seamlessly. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content on software development and testing like this, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates. So leave a comment if you have any question on topic you'd like us to cover next. Happy testing!